So, I got the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's 2 days in. I got it at the midnight release. In my area, that was around 11:47. They started letting people grab them. They started letting people grab them at 11. First impressions, I was super excited. First thing I did was jump on the GameCube emulators, or the whatever you call that. I started playing GameCube games and had a lot of fun with Wind Waker and Soul Calibur. I actually got the bundle, so it came with Mario Kart World, and that was a lot of fun for the first couple hours. And then I realized that Mario Kart World, the roaming is kind of tedious. It's interesting to see the different little cities and little characters they put inside of the worlds, but all the little mini games are only so fun. A lot of them are very repetitive. With basically, it just felt like a tutorial about how to play the racing aspects of it or the new mechanics, but nothing really like, I don't know. It isn't that immersive, I guess. The game itself looks beautiful, stunning, runs super smooth. I watched a couple other YouTubers, Wolfden and Beat 'em Up, and they kind of talked about Mario Kart. Beat 'em Up talked about it, and I think gave like the best way of describing it. He said it was like playing arcade Mario Kart, which I as soon as I was playing it, even at the higher CCs, I felt like it was more relaxed. To me, it was more relaxed than the other ones. The roads felt super wide and open, drifting. It didn't feel like there was a ton of like in the older Mario Karts when you would drift, there was like some room for, like, not a lot of room for error sometimes. But on this one, I feel like you had lots of room for error, which I guess is good for most people. But I would say it does take away from like the competitive aspect. But it is a lot of fun. The game looks beautiful. It runs super smooth. I did feel like the item system, I feel like I was attacked a lot more than usual, which I guess could be fun and maybe adds to the competitive spirit, but I felt like I could get way ahead of everybody enough that wouldn't affect me too much. Maybe 2 throws, and then that would put me back in the pack. I know other YouTubers have had different experiences with that, but that's how I felt. The console itself feels super nice. Like, honestly, I loved the original Nintendo Switch. I was there at the midnight release in 2016 when I first got to college. It was one of the first consoles I bought that wasn't used, and this build quality is so much better. I love the magnetic connectors. I like the way it just snaps in. I do worry about like stuff getting on the connector or inside of the little connection port, like dirt or grime or dust or whatever. So I'd say maybe like something to think about is to clean those out, blow clean air inside, get that clean pretty regularly. Where I don't feel like I had to worry about that too much with the slide connectors, but like it does make for like a much better connection, and it doesn't feel like the controller's just gonna wobble off. I also don't worry about, like you used to on the old system, you would slide the controllers in, and then you might have to worry about, somebody that isn't paying attention puts it on the wrong side or whatever, and then the racking system doesn't seem to like hold up as good long term. This feels like a much better build quality. The screen is so much better. I was instantly impressed with that because I loved my Switch, but it did feel small. This feels like the perfect size. Like, I wouldn't want it bigger, I wouldn't want it smaller. It's perfect. It does feel a lot more premium. Feels heavier. I don't know. The thing I was most impressed with is, I didn't realize this, I guess I didn't read the specs, was the original Switch came in 32 gigabytes internal storage. This one was like, I think 228, which was, I was kind of worried about not getting an express card right away because of storage, but even downloading all the games I had on my original Switch and then save data, I still have lots of gigs left. Obviously, for some of you that like might want to buy something like Cyberpunk or Elden Ring or something else that's coming out for the Switch, you may want the express cards with the high gigabytes, but for me and the Legend of Zelda fanboy that I am, this was perfect. I will say, after the first few hours of playing this, the excitement kind of wore off, and it does feel like it's lacking in the game realm. I have ended up playing more older games than Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World was fun, but it's not really a different experience from any other Mario Karts you've really played, except for like the rail riding. But even that doesn't excite me enough to make me want to keep playing that game. And I've ended up playing mostly the virtual systems that Nintendo's put into their subscription services. I've been playing mostly the GameCube and the 64 versions, and then some of the old Game Boy games. So I do feel like you're not getting anything brand new right out the gate except for Mario Kart, and even that didn't seem to hold me. I know there are other YouTubers that think it's an amazing experience, but they even admit that it is just Mario Kart. So yeah, there's that. Do I think you have to buy this right now to really enjoy the Switch system? Probably not. I am probably too committed to Nintendo for the most part. So I was excited about it. I really liked the idea. For me, the most exciting thing was the power upgrade. And that definitely shows. So in Smash Bros, I have all the DLC, all the characters unlocked, everything, and I noticed it started lagging a lot. Well, as soon as I popped it into the new Switch, there was no loading time. As soon as I popped it in, it was open, which was great. People that played with me, they seemed to think the experience is a little different playing Smash Bros on the new Switch, but I didn't feel like it was super different. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Some of the arguments I've heard for why you should wait are the cost, which I get. The cost is hefty, and again, I guess I'm probably too committed to it. But I don't know if Mario Kart World itself is worth the price increase. I probably wouldn't say it was, because I'm not going to be somebody that enjoys the free roam stuff. But a lot of people, like younger kids, probably love that. It fits their like culture and what they're used to playing. So they'll probably find hours and hours of enjoyment from that. But me, I like story-driven stuff. So Mario Kart has never been something I'm going to jump on. I think $60, staying at $60 probably would have been more worth it, just to make it feel like you're not being gypped. But for somebody that's used to playing open world games like that, they may think it's worth the $80. Like I bet a lot of the younger generation probably thinks it's worth it. We just don't, because I don't think we get the appeal of just driving a car around and looking at stuff. But kids do. Kids like to play power washing games or driving a freight truck across mountains or whatever it is, just for fun, where I wouldn't want to do that. I don't know. I'm excited. It'll be good. You'll just have to wait and see for yourself, I guess. Anyway, Nintendo Switch 2. Day 2. I'll give you a better update a week in when I really get to think through it better. But please think about following the channel. Subscribe, support. I know this is a low production type thing. You're probably not used to low production anymore. But I can never get better if I don't have the support. So think about following. I do a lot of other stuff. I love to travel. I love cameras. And I love video games, cars. I'm probably too eclectic, but that's what I love and that's what I want to do. So follow my channel if you're interested in any of those things, and let's see if we can build a new culture. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Check me out in a week after I update it.